Hello everyone and welcome to the Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Voris. As confusion in the church mounts and piles up and proliferates and multiplies, one major reason is because there are never any real consequences for those who add to the confusion. For decades now, Rome has refused to denounce all of this in any meaningful way. Sure, every now and then something is declared bad or not to be done or whatever, but then there is virtually no enforcement, and that's when something is actually even said. Few words, even fewer actions. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about heresy or schism, Rome actually does very little. James Martin is given just as much of a wide berth as the schismatic SSPX. At least the SSPX has been declared in schism and or lacking any canonical standing by the last three popes. Three popes have said that about that phony society. But neither Martin nor the schismatics ever actually get adequately disciplined. Nothing ever happens to them. In short, they never feel the consequences of their assaults against the church. And make no mistake here, they are assaults and they are against the church. Assaults of a different kind between them both, sure, but assaults nonetheless. There are, after all, two keys, one for the teaching, the other for jurisdiction. Martin attacks one of the keys, schismatics attack the other. And this lack of actual discipline stretches back quite a number of decades. Homosexuality in the seminaries was condemned by then Cardinal Ratzinger, but nothing was ever really done about it. Likewise, the movement begun by Archbishop Marcel Lefebvre was declared schismatic at its inception by Pope John Paul, and Lefebvre was excommunicated. But again, nothing, or perhaps better said, not enough, was done. And from a practical point of view, both heretics and schismatics get to claim the same mantle of defense. Well, Rome hasn't canceled us, so we must be fine. Not being punished is not an endorsement, a blessing of the church. It's just yet another example of the woeful administration by the hierarchy of bringing discipline to the most errant sons of the church. Somewhere, a few generations ago, Rome lost practically all taste for discipline, and the result has been chaos. Pope Benedict would not banish Hans Kuhn. John Paul would not expel sex-abusing bishops. Francis has said privately he wants the confusion, which is pretty obvious at this point. Phony apparitions are allowed to proliferate, even when a string of local bishops have condemned them. Movements have been allowed to spring up and even flourish in the church, which can be described as many things, but just not Catholic movements. Books can be published by Catholic press which are anti-Catholic. Politicians can receive Holy Communion after casting a vote to kill children. In fact, you can literally get away with murder and never have to fear being punished or disciplined. All of this is to say, if you hear a schismatic, for example, saying, well, Pope Francis lets our priests hear confession and perform marriages, it means nothing. The very same people who embrace Francis for those things turn around a moment later and claim he's not the real pope or he's a heretic or whatever. So which is it, guys? Does he have the authority to do what he does for you? Or is he not really the pope? You can't have it both ways. Likewise, James Martin, just like the SSPX in principle of disobedience, will promote gay everything at the exact same time Francis is granting an interview to the Associated Press saying homosexual activity is a sin. So which is it, Jimmy? You post pictures of yourself all over social media saying the Pope supports you, just like the SSPX posts that they have the Pope's support as well. But in the end, which is it? It seems every schismatic and heretic in the church these days can claim some kind of cover or approval by Rome and then make hay about it on social media. Rome really needs to get a handle on this situation and do it fast. It's all right for a father to lower the boom on disobedient sons of whatever kind, even the Holy Father. Drop the hammer, Your Holiness, on both sides. Things have been allowed to go on for way too long. again, on both sides. God love you. I'm Michael Voris.